Today's episode is brought to you by the Be Real Podcasting Network. For more episodes like this, check out BREELnetwork.com.
Hey, Tony, I like video games.
Well, hello there, Jake. I love video games too.
And this is an episode of Hey, I Like That Game.
Bow!
Cha-da-ba-doo, yeah.
It's not. We're never going to get that right.
You know, I think just by doing it, we've already gotten it right in our souls.
We already won. Jake, how are things going? What are you gaming on right now?
Things are going so well. A great game that I'm sure you love to play as well called Civilization 6 just got an expansion pack. So I have been playing a whole lot of that. Because that's the only amount of Civilization you can play is a whole lot of it.
Yeah, that whole series is just an enigma to me. I've never really played any of those games, but I hear it's super fun.
It is so dense. I have played so many hours of that game, and I still feel like I don't fully understand how to play it well.
Oh man!
But I love it, and I'll never stop learning how to play well. When they're on Civilization 18 in 30 years.
Yeah, Civ's an interesting franchise. So that's cool. So the new expansion is good. You like it?
Yeah, it's been solid. Added a lot of great new mechanics to it. I don't know. Civilization 6 was a weird, because the first one I played was 5, so this is the first sequel I've played. So it is just it's always a learning curve because it's such a basic level system that hasn't really changed since the first one, I think. But they have to tweak it every time they release a new version. So I feel like I just got to know what Civilization 6 is, and now this expansion came in and messed it all up. But it's been cool.
Yeah. Cool.
There's a loyalty system that I'm still trying to figure out completely, but it's just another way to make sure that your cities don't rebel.
Nice.
Oh man, I could talk Civ 6 for hours.
Oh yikes! But let's not do that. Let's. I'll tell you about a game that I just played over the weekend that I really like. Just real quickly. I don't know if you played any of the Shovel Knight games.
Oh yeah.
Shovel Knight is fucking great. It's such a cool game. It's such a retro art style. It looks like it's made for the NES. It plays kind of like a Mega Man game, but it has all the modern trappings of video games, auto saves, checkpoints, just all the creature comforts, and it's wrapped around such a cool aesthetic, good music, and an interesting story. So I played the original Shovel Knight months ago, but this weekend I bought the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on Switch for my nieces when I bought them a Switch, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play on their Switch and see what they have. And I was playing Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment, the third DLC campaign. It's so good. If you like the original Shovel Knight, you're gonna love this. They totally remix all the levels. The movement mechanic is super good. The character flows really well. Oh man, it's sweet. It's really, really cool. Highly recommended.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out because I got the OG Shovel Knight on the DS, but I do want to get it on the Switch and get the full version of it and play the DLCs.
Yeah, the DLCs are really good, and they have a third one coming out here real soon. But anyways, the real reason that we're doing this episode here is for what's this game called? Advance Wars Dual Strike.
Bingo! Yes, Advanced Wars Dual Strike. This was back when all the DS games would try to incorporate DS into the name in some point. It's kind of in the 2000s where everything had 2000 in it, Pokemon the movie 2000.
Right,
it's kind of like that, but
or Super Mario 64.
Yep.
This was your game, Jake. So why did you pick this game?
Well, this is I played the Advanced Wars series a lot when I was younger. So these games really hit their stride when I was in middle school, and I remember just playing a ton of them, and all my friends would play them too, and we'd try to kind of strategize together. But it's a turn-based strategy game. The art style is very kind of almost cutesy, pixel art and everything. But it's a war game, so it's this really weird dichotomy of the art style and this wanton murder.
Yeah, it's so crazy because all the characters look happy, and they're the dialogue is always really tongue-in-cheek and kind of weird, and it's but this is war. This is a hardcore war game. Not gonna lie, it is it's strategy level 10. It's a tough strategy game.
It is very robust. But basically, the premise of the game is you're the good guys, and then the what's the bad guy enemy team called? The Black Sun, Black Hole, something like that.
I think it's Black Hole. Yeah.
Yeah, towards like all like obvious anime villain kind of tropes. Just kind of come and try to take over all your stuff, and you're just fighting a defensive war.
Yeah, for literally no reason. Like, I don't understand the motivations of the bad guys at all. Other than, like, they look menacing. They're probably evil.
Right.
And,
like, I don't know, they don't respect their troops like we do. Kind of like they're Pokemon villains.
Yeah, exactly. They are Pokemon villains. That is exactly it. That is 100% it. This game's interesting. Like, I had a similar history with the Advance Wars series before this game. Like, I played the original one on the GBA, or the original one that came on the US. There was NES and I think SNES war games. I don't know if it was called Advance Wars, though. But it was a similar concept, the top-down with different units and all that. But I played the shit out of the Game Boy Advance one, and I really liked it. Like, I got all the way to the last mission of that game, which I never ended up beating because it just gets really hard.
Yeah.
This game has that similar problem to me. Like, it's a very fun strategy game, but I'm not very good at them. Like, admittedly, I am not great at strategy games in general. It always takes me a couple of tries to like beat a level, unless it's like highly scripted,
Mm-hmm.
This game has like some really hard spikes in terms of difficulty, mission to mission, which makes it harder for me to get really into. But this game is still really good. Like, there's a lot of cool mechanics that are happening in this game. They take a step forward for the genre in a really big way that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting this game to be as good as it is, even though I struggled in playing it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that the second screen comes into play, like I think people like forget how interesting the DS was when it first came out. Like how much companies ran with using that double screen.
Yeah, and how often it didn't work well, but I would say this is one of the games that like utilizes it well. Not that this game has a lot of mechanics that require a touchscreen. I don't think it has any, but it's just like a way of controlling the game that's very efficient. I kind of found myself using the touchscreen more than just the directional pad.
Yeah, the best thing about DSs are that you get that informational screen, right? Like you get you're not using the touchscreen at all. You're just, I need another piece of information, just picture in picture. That's all it is.
Right.
This game uses it in such an interesting way. Like the first time where they have the two fronts, dual fronts.
Yep.
Whatever they call that mechanic in the game, where you have two different lines of warfare. That's really cool. It's like a really interesting mechanic. What was the first one that you got to do? Like when there was like some sort of crazy air base?
Yeah, there's like this flying sky fortress.
Yeah.
And you send up like planes and whatnot to destroy it. So kind of like a little bit more about the mechanics of this game. So it's just like a grid-based, turn-based strategy. You get more funds by capturing cities and different buildings. Mm-hmm. You can produce land, air, sea units. There's like direct combat where you attack and then can get countered attack. Then indirect combat, which is like more difficult to set up. Like certain units have like a range that if you start the turn with an enemy in that range, you can indirectly attack them, which is powerful because you don't get countered attack, but it can be difficult to set up, and those units are more vulnerable. You win by defeating all enemy units or capturing their HQ. The mechanics are pretty straightforward. There are a few nuances there, but the campaign does a really good job of introducing those as they arrive.
Yes. The first 6 missions of the game like really kind of ratchet up, like here's a system,
Mm-hmm.
next mission, here's another one to lay on top of it, so it kind of builds up to when you get to the first open area in terms of like what you have to do in the mission, you feel like you have a good amount of mechanics to work around with.
Yeah.
And you understand them.
And it takes, I think, maybe about 10 or so missions in the campaign before it really just kind of like gets to, okay, here are the reigns. And like maybe every once or twice they'll tell you something because the campaign uses more like unique sorts of units and objectives just to keep it fresh and keep it interesting and new for mission to mission. I agree with that. The difficulty of the campaign does vary. it doesn't like rise at a steady pace. Like the first 10 missions or so, I would say are just like cakewalks because they're introducing new mechanics and it's all pretty simple. And then after that, it takes a little bit more work. But the one I always get stuck at, I'm not sure, how far in the campaign did you get?
So I made it to, I think, let me see, mission 12, I think, something like that.
12,
11
okay.
or 12. So like I made it only about halfway through this game. Like I didn't have a ton of time to play through it. And like I feel like I understood it. I watched some materials online about it and read about the units that like I hadn't gotten a chance to play with. But like I said, I really struggle with these games. I don't want to sit there for 40 minutes and then end up losing the mission. It's like, great, I gotta do that again. I have to waste another 40 minutes. Like fuck that. For me, the introduction of the dual strike mechanic, where you can have 2 COs, which is like your general that's issuing commands to your units that all have different unique powers.
Mm-hmm.
That whole mechanic is super interesting, and they pulled that from the GBA game. So I understood how to utilize that. But there was a mission in particular, I think it was mission 8, that like kind of soured it for me, where it's the first time they give you dual strike mechanic, but only the enemy has it. So you're 1 against 2, and that mission took me forever because they kept getting dual strikes. Like as soon as I had like a good turn going, like boop, dual strike. Both COs go 1 turn after another, so they essentially get 2 turns.
Yeah.
And like that would always like ruin the flow I had going. And it's just like fuck. They have to like that sucks.
Yeah, it's a really powerful mechanic because basically you get 2 turns in a row, which is the big thing of it. And whenever they activate the power, the CO gets some kind of boost to them. They're more powerful than usual, and they get to go back to back, and that can just it really can wreck your day. And you can do it to them as well, but it's an interesting way of utilizing the powers. But I agree that it kind of seems a little overpowered and can. It's just it's so powerful that it just kind of makes something not fun, and it seems to kind of take away a bit of the element of strategy because it's just you have this one-sided swing button that you get to press once or twice every match.
Yeah, it's a really big swing tool, but it's so interesting. Like the systems they layer onto this game in terms of the COs themselves is fascinating, and it's it adds a lot of depth to this game that made me enjoy it while I was playing it. Like the fact that you can pick 2 different COs that have different passive abilities. I always like to use Max. Max was my favorite guy in the first one, so I had to really use him in this one, and he gets base a base increase in direct combat units, so tanks and stuff like that. And then I always paired that with Rachel to get the base repair increases, so I can go back and power up and stuff faster, or get my health back faster. And then her CO power is really dope too.
Yeah.
The covering fire.
Right. It launches
3
missiles that just do heavy area of effect damage to the enemy.
Yeah, that's my favorite little combo. But the fact that there's 20 some COs in this game, there's a bunch of different combinations you can do that are really interesting.
Yeah, and each unit or CO feels pretty different. They each have their own abilities. The kind of the base one you start with, named Jake, one of my favorites for obvious reasons.
Oh god, he's so bad. Such a fucking tool of a character too. Oh my god.
He's just kind of jack of all trades. All those units are don't get any boosts, but they don't get any buffs, and in general he just kind of gets his powers just your units become more powerful this turn and get to move a little bit further. But then there's the requisite this guy has stronger air units, this guy has stronger water units, this guy has better indirect combat. Then even stuff this person, his units are cheaper but they're weaker, and then there's the inverse of that where they're stronger but more expensive. Each one has their own niche and feel to it, and I like that. It makes it that's just an extra level of strategy to it that's really fun.
Right, and it's so they had that in Advance Wars, the one that I played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you add a second one in there, all of a sudden obviously a ton of combinations present themselves, but there's a whole nother layer of strategy of just setting up your COs before you even go into battle, and then layer on top of it how each CO has an independent level, and then you get to pick 4 skills from various levels.
Yeah.
In your CO. So like you can pick a level 1, a level 2, a level 4. You know, like you can kind of mix up how strong the skills you want to use. But like you can either try to fill in your weaknesses or strengthen what you're already good at. It's really cool. Like that part of this game is really cool. I kind of like setting up my team more than actually doing this strategy combat because I'm so bad at it. But it's fun. This game's really fun. It's really fun. Really,
it's fun,
really cool.
but I think it's like emotionally exhausting.
Explain. What do you mean by that?
So the matches they do, especially like in the later campaign, and if you just do like the general war room matches, which aren't in the campaign, just like basically like a one-on-one versus computer or something like that, they can take a long time. They do take a long time, and there's a lot of back and forth. And if you lose, then it's like you have to restart over, and it's so demoralizing. And whenever I would like get in the later parts of the campaign where the missions were harder, and like I would finally beat it, I wouldn't want to play the next one. Like I just went through such an ordeal to finally beat that mission, and I don't want to subject myself to that again immediately. So I never
100%.
like wanted to like sit down and play
100%.
this game for a long time. I would always do like one mission, then like, all right, I'm gonna put this down a little bit, play it later today, or just like the next day or something later. It's tough. It's fun. It's a really great strategy. I love a good strategy game, and this one is very good. But it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, one match does. That's what I was doing when I was playing this game. I would do one mission a day because I couldn't handle any more than that. And it's like I was even on long airplane rides this past week, like 4-hour airplane rides from Seattle, Michigan, and I couldn't get myself to play more than one mission on a 4-hour flight. I couldn't do it. It's just the recharge time that it takes you to play that game again is just too long. But I totally agree with all of that, but I still like this game a lot. I still would say, I recommend this game highly.
Yeah,
even though I didn't play the breadth of it. So I never got to face this unit. What is it like fighting against the ooze? The ooze stuff. Like how does that work?
So what the ooze is, so it's a unit that pops up exclusively in the campaign. It can move one tile at a time, so very, very small movement rate. But if it moves into one of your units, instant kills them. The strategy is you kind of have to wear them down with indirect combat. They also have just crazy high defense. So you need to wear them down and then bring in, when they're in kill range, you need to bring in your direct combat units and you have to kill them at that turn. Because if you don't finish it off, then it's going to take one of your units right then. And the way it's utilized in the campaign, so the mission where they're introduced, you fight 15 or 20 of them. All in one map, but you can kind of maneuver around them because they don't get to move much. It's kind of more annoying than it is a challenge, but then they kind of appear here and there later in the campaign. And the last mission, you fight a giant one of them that keeps spitting out small ones. But then it's you have to deal with moving around them at the same time that you're just dealing with the normal enemy units, and then when the enemy gets their dual strike and gets to move 2 tiles in a turn, you have to be prepped for that. You have to make sure you're 2 away from them, because then they can run in. And it happens very frequently where I'd forget that the enemy is going to have their power the next turn, and then they just take 2 units off the board immediately with the ooze exclusively.
Yeah, and that's kind of the downfall of this genre to me, is that if I don't plan this out really, really far in advance for the most part, if you're not thinking at least 3 turns ahead, you might be fucked, and I just, my brain doesn't work like that. I just don't, I struggle with setting up indirect units is one of the hardest things for me to utilize really effectively.
Yeah.
I just suck at it. I do like the battleship though. The battleship is if I ever can get water units, I take battleships, because that, for some reason, being able to utilize the water and the super long range of that, you could just I'm much better with that. But the artillery and the what is it, the missile one, the one that the square missile,
right?
That one I struggle with those units mightily. It sounds like you really need to leverage that to defeat the oozes.
Yeah, you really do. It's helped that they can only move 1 tile, but
right.
Yeah, I think getting properly utilizing the different types of units, making sure that you have a good amount of heavy units to get in the front line, and then the indirect units kind of like provide like covering fire and like soften the enemy up, and then the infantry units are the only ones that can capture buildings, so you have to make sure that you're always pumping them out, but they're also weak, so you have to like watch them. It does take a lot to always keep track of. In the later missions of the campaign, I think around like starting like the 20-ish or so mission, some of them you'll take control of basically 3 allied teams against 1 enemy team. So you're controlling 3 different bases, 6 COs in total, against an enemy that's appropriately like balanced and has like a lot of their own units and whatnot. But the other difficult thing with that is your like power meter is charged by taking and dealing damage. So you'll start the turn with your first team, then go through your 3 turns with all your teams, and in just like doing damage and whatnot, you're in like fully charge the enemy up in no time whatsoever. So that's another really annoying thing with the ooze comes up in the later game, and then the enemy goes from like no power to like completely full before you even realize it, just because you had like a good series of turns. It's kind of, it does just speak to what you were saying about there's a lot to keep track of, and I like games like that, but this game almost brought too much of it.
Yeah, it's too much for what I like to do in a video game, but like everything's well done. You know,
Yeah.
it seems like it doesn't seem like any of the COs are crazy overpowered, except for
The
CO
final boss.
Not the final boss, the CO Hawk.
Oh
seems
yeah.
It seems like that guy is just ridiculously good at everything, which makes him completely overpowered and kind of shitty to play against.
Yeah, so Hawk's one of the enemy COs, at least for the first half of the campaign. At some point, like, you get some of the bad guys to get on your side.
Yeah.
And his units, I think, are just passively a little bit more powerful. And also then his CO ability is, it does 2 damage to all enemy units and heals his units 2 HP. All the units have 10 HP, like that's like the baseline number you're dealing with. So it's like deal 20% damage and heal 20% damage. And there are a few COs that kind of have some variation of like deal damage to everybody on the enemy team, and those are just so damn annoying to deal with. It's not even like it's excessively powerful, it's just annoying.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. And then like you pair that against a CO like Eagle, which is like super good at the air units, but it's like I would always rather go with a guy like Hawk. You know, like I would always rather use that as a CO.
But the fun thing about Eagle, so he's like the air units get a boost CO, but his superpower is your units get to take basically 2 turns. So that if you use him in like the dual strike superpower, it's essentially you get to take 3 turns in one round,
which is crazy.
It's so crazy. But yeah, I think we've been talking about the nitpicks, but I totally agree with you in that I love this game. I'd recommend it to anybody. I think it's a good way to kind of like get started with strategy games, or if you're like really into them already, it's not going to be easy. Like the aesthetic of this game portrays sort of like a kid's game sort of, but
It's hard.
It's hard.
Game.
It's deep. I remember when I played this game when I was younger, it was like really difficult. And I thought it's like, oh, I'm an adult now. It'll be easier. Adult in air quotes. It'll be easier. But no, it's still really hard. I almost think it might have been easier when I was younger, like kind of like some Ender's Game situation where kids are just like better tacticians or something. Maybe that's what's going on.
I totally agree. I feel like as a kid, like I remember getting to the last mission of the original Advance Wars game. I remember being able to get there and not being able to beat it, but I was like, I got all the way to the end.
Yeah.
In this game, I was like, fuck, I don't think I ever could. Like, I don't have the patience, or like the patience or the know-how anymore.
The time. I got bills to pay. I can't be playing video games.
As I load up another video game. Like, good God. As I put in another 100 hours in HOTS.
Yeah.
But this is a great game. This is like, if you have a DS, if you have a way to play this game, you should play this game.
Yeah, I think it's
fun.
not too cheap to like pick up a used physical copy.
Yeah.
I don't know of any place you could download this legitimately through any Nintendo console, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. Something we really barely touched on was the aesthetic of the game. It has a very like charming feel to it that holds up. It's sort of like what we talked about in Paper Mario, where style is more important than graphics, and this game really portrays that. It's very
Totally agree.
colorful. Each like nation's units have their own distinct feel to them and look to them, and like visual motifs. Each CO has their own battle music. They all have
They
their own
look
like distinct
complete-
look and
They're all
personality.
completely different looking.
Mm-hmm.
You're spot on. This game has such a great look and feel to it.
Yeah.
And like all of the individual units look cool too. I mean, like even the difference between a regular tank and like a large tank, the actual units on the screen don't look that much different. But then when you get into a battle with another unit, they kind of zoom in and show like, here's a closer up picture of the unit and how many you have against their unit. When they do the side by side 2-panel look, those units look really cool. Like my favorite new unit, the nano tank, looks so dope when it's on the actual like playground and when it's fighting other stuff.
Yeah, it's like this
It looks really cool.
Dr. Eggman Sonic looking contraption.
Yeah.
It's like an orb with feet.
Yeah,
It's cool.
It's great.
And
It's perfect.
the units are very well balanced as well. So like obviously like the more powerful units are more expensive. That's just one basic unit of balancing it. Also there's a mega tank, which is just like a ludicrously powerful unit that takes a lot of funds to buy, but it also has very limited ammo. So unless you have another unit there to keep it stocked or like put it on one of your cities to resupply, like it can only do so much before it becomes essentially useless. All the units have that kind of rock, paper, scissors sort of like balancing method that makes it important to get like a diversity of units. You can't just like keep pumping out the same one and like wreck, because there's going to be a counter to that. This game is very deep and it's really fun. And I think my biggest thing about it, or gripe about it, would be that I think it tried to add too much onto the formula from the other Advanced Wars games.
Yeah, it's a lot quickly sometimes. I don't know, like I keep like waffling back and forth on like how difficult the game can be and how many systems are at play. Like I love the complexity of it, but sometimes it's like I don't always feel that you can tinker to your heart's content and still have a winnable strategy in some of these missions. You know, like if I really wanted to build a team in any which way, like is that possible to do, or do you really need to like have a focused strategy every time you go into a mission? You know?
Yeah. It still has, like, there's still just, like, a kind of, I guess, lack of a better term, right way to play and win matches, which is kind of like the natural progression of capturing more buildings to get more funds, and that just kind of like, as you go, you can just buy the stronger units because you have more available, and you'll have, like, a balance of, you know, tanks or whatever variety you can afford, and then, like, some indirect combat in the background, whatever variety you can afford, and then, you know, throw in some air or sea units if the map accommodates those. The most obvious strategy is always going to be the one you go with, and always the one that works, and that's just some variation of that. Did you play any other modes other than the campaign?
I briefly touched on them, like not enough to even speak to them. Like there's one where it's like a real time unit. What's that one called?
Combat.
Combat. Yeah. So
That's-
like how does that work?
You can control a single unit, and it's either like an infantry, like a recon, like machine gun, a Humvee sort of thing, or a tank. And they each like deal a different amount of damage, or like can capture buildings quicker. But it's really odd because you're only controlling one unit. Like there's only one friendly unit, and the enemy team is roaming around a bunch of different computer-controlled units, and you're using the touchscreen, and it's sort of like a really bad... I would almost like equate it as like a really bad dual-stick shooter game with like different controls, but it kind of has that feel to it where it's top-down, and you're moving around with the control stick, and then using the touchscreen to kind of like choose where you shoot. And that game mode's almost just like a distraction. Like if you're like kind of bored of doing the turn-based thing and you just want to mess around, it's fun for like 10 minutes or so, and then it gets pretty boring.
That's what it seemed like. I kind of touched it for a second. I was like, I don't like any of this. And,
Yeah.
just went and then just instantly canceled out. Like nope, no thanks.
Nope. Yeah, it has its own like...
What's the other mode?
There's survival mode, which I never really touched. It's basically like you play a series of maps with either a limited number of turns, time, or funds. And yeah, I never really dug into that. But then the other one is the War Room, which is just a whole bunch of different maps that are like outside the campaign, basically one-on-one. Like no side has an advantage or disadvantage. There's no like weird crazy units or like ooze or anything. So it's more akin to what it would be like if you played multiplayer in this game, but versus a computer.
Oh, cool.
And it's nice. I like it's a good way of sort of like honing your skill and getting some more combat experience outside of the campaign to level up the COs and just kind of for your own enjoyment. But my big gripe with that is that in that mode, the campaign is more well balanced for the missions to be kind of more fun consistently throughout. But when you're playing in the war room mode, the winner will always become pretty apparent not too long into the game. And then it's just sort of like this really tedious process of achieving one of the win conditions of killing everybody or capturing the HQ. And like for the last 10, or not 10, like 5 or so turns, you're just like cleaning up enemy units and like trying to get one infantry to the HQ, and it becomes really tedious. That's like the one thing that kind of I think affects the replayability, is that the war room, though robust, can get kind of drab pretty quickly. If you just get frustrated with the campaign, it's not always the best alternative. But that's kind of just like a nature of this gameplay and the style of game itself.
I think we've both given a lot of love to this game. I'd give this game how many medium tanks? I give this game 40 medium tanks out of an ooze. Ooze ball.
Would give this 4 one-hit kill ooze slimes out of 5.
This is pretty good. This is probably our best. Best one yet.
I think I've subjected you to some pretty bad games recently, so I'm glad I got one that you actually enjoyed.
Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, good pick on this one, Jake. So it's my game to pick next.
Ooh.
And we've had a list going for a while, and like I keep looking back to the list and like thinking, I kind of want to do something else. And when I was in Michigan for the past week, like talking with some old friends and like just talking about games, one game came up in particular that I think would be great for this, and it would be a good palate cleanser in between the very long, drawn-out Advance Wars Dual Strike game that we just played. My choice for the Super Nintendo is a game called Super Punch-Out.
Super Punch-Out? The sequel to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Sure is.
Oh, God.
Oh, dude, this game is great. I love this game.
No.
Oh, my God. Loved it. What, did you hate it?
No, I've never played it, but I'm terrible at Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Ooh, I am so glad. Now you get to play a game that you're shitty at. Perfect. Yeah, so Super Punch-Out. Game's so good. I can't wait to crack into this one. You sound very happy.
I'm cautiously optimistic for this. I think it'll be interesting. I'm excited to play it in a apprehensive way.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for our episode. Follow us on Twitter at I like that game.
At I like that game.
At I like that game. You can email us at heyilikethatgame@gmail.com if you have any suggestions for games that we can do for our next episode. After Punch-Out.
After Punch-Out.
After Punch-Out.
So tune in next time to see if I am able to beat anybody in Super Punch-Out, because spoilers, I've never beaten Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I don't even know if I've gotten to him before.
I've gotten to him, but I've never beat him. Like that's one of like gaming's Mount Everest things that like I should do at some point, but fuck that. Like no way.
Thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. All right, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Hey, bye.